Hello, I'm Kathleen Maracchio. I'm a library assistant for San Antonio Public Libraries. And today I'd like to show you a fun and fast way to create your own icings and pastry fillings for your baked goods. Many of the treats you make from your own pantry with just a few simple tricks and a cake mix can become something special. Let's start with chocolate. This chocolate cake mix has possibilities. Whether I'm making cupcakes with fudge frosting or a 2-layer showstopper, I'm still in the habit of replacing the vegetable oil the recipe usually requires with this 6-ounce can of plain tomato sauce. When I do this, I decrease the sweetness of the cake and bring forward the rich chocolate flavor. It also makes for a very moist cake. When I add chocolate chips, it's a family favorite. Another thing I'll do with this one cake mix is create 2 9-inch rounds. After they've cooled, I can create a chocolate mousse-like filling using this chocolate instant pudding. I'll show you how I do that later. I also use pie cherries. I can put that in between the 2 layers on top of the chocolate mousse and also on top of my cake. I'll garnish with whipped cream or frozen topping. In this way, I have recreated a Black Forest cake. Another favorite in our house is banana bread. I will try to recreate it using either a yellow cake mix or a butter pecan cake mix. Regardless of which one I choose, I omit the 1 cup water that the recipe requires. I do use the oil, but I will add 3 tablespoons milk and to 3 very ripe mashed bananas, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and another alteration to the recipe. Instead of 3 eggs, I'll only use 2. In this way, I will change the texture of the cake to something more dense and moist and imitative of banana bread. Now, I've made alterations, additions, substitutions to these cake mix recipes, but one thing I haven't changed is the oven temperature and the baking times recommended depending on the pans you're using. Another favorite in this house is apple spice cake. I make that using a standard spice cake mix. But instead of the 1 cup water that this requires, I'll use 1 cup apple juice. I'll also add to the batter 1 envelope of this spiced apple cider instant drink. Instead of the oil, I'll add applesauce. I can even put cinnamon in the batter, and then I'll have an apple spice cake for any apple lover. With the shopping changes and the lifestyle changes we're all living with, many of us are doing more and more shopping from home, and some of the substitutions we get can be a little surprising. In this instance, instead of a golden cake, I received a pineapple supreme cake mix. That's fine, because I know that with the tropical trail mix I have in my pantry and the snack pack of pineapple tidbits in its own juice and some shredded coconut, I can combine these elements in a food processor, add them to the cake mix, and even include some rum extract. You can use real rum. It will bake off, the alcohol will, in the oven, and you'll still have that rum flavor, and in the end, a pina colada cake. So here are some ideas, but for these cakes, we do want to create icings. As promised, I'll show you how. I'm using instant pudding. It comes in many flavors and is very affordable. I have pistachio, butterscotch, there's lemon, there's even cheesecake. I have used this chocolate instant pudding to create a chocolate pudding icing for the banana cake I made earlier. But right now, I'd just like to show you how to make any pudding into a frosting or mousse or pastry filling. I'll go with lemon right now. I take the envelope and empty it into the bowl. Now usually these instant puddings require 2 cups cold milk, but for our purposes we're using just 1 cup cold milk, like you see here, and 1 cup heavy cream. There we are. I'm going to mix it up this way before I turn on the mixer to make sure none of the powdery mix flies out. And now I'll turn it up gradually to increase the air incorporation into our mix. Okay, so as you can see, it is starting to thicken, but it hasn't formed any peaks. And we do still need to put some more air in there, but I do want to take a moment to tell you, you don't want to overbeat this mixture because you could end up with butter of any flavor. So let's just continue. Now you can see it's starting to ribbon, but again, no peaks just yet, but you can see it won't be long. Now, if I keep it loose, that is not too stiff, it makes a great pastry filling, though it's not quite peaked yet. And if the stiffer I make it, the closer it comes to butter. So I just want to warn you, this is where I don't want to take too long. Okay, I can feel it's becoming a lot thicker. And as it sits, it will thicken. So this might be a good time to stop and reassess just how thick you want your frosting / pie or tart filling, pastry filling, whatever you wish to call it, should be. So let's take a look at the cake we frosted earlier with the chocolate variety right here. And as we finish, I'd like to share that another way to use elements that you might have in your pantry or even leftover chocolate from Christmas, such as this chocolate orange piece I have here, is to grate it with a cheese grater right over the cake. Just like so. I can use white chocolate for more contrast on top of the chocolate pudding, but I think we ate all of that, so there we are. Mash up some cookies, put those on top. Plenty of ways you can get creative and tasty once you've iced your cake with our pudding whipped cream icing. Well, I want to thank you all for joining me today, and a Happy New Year to everyone. For more information, visit mysapl.org or call 210-207-2500.